This is Cheryl at Sea Spirit Tarot, and I've had a rough day. I'm off kilter, but it's time for another video, and it does calm me down to do the video, even though I know at this time we're supposed to be in with people, but I was with my daughter. I was at doctor's appointments, I was at the grocery store, I went to the chiropractor, I could move. It's great, but I guess all mothers and daughters, you know, for centuries and centuries, there's that thing, isn't there? So it makes me feel bad, but here I am, you know. Gabriel Cabran says, you know, as God loves the bow that is stable, so he loves the arrow that flies. And they go off into their world, and you cannot live in their world. They are in their own world, you know, that there are a new generation. And I should have got that book out and read that, and maybe I will do that sometime. But anyway, that's my boohoo, and here's my began for Ethany's 31 Days of Tarot. And this is for day 22. And these are the top 5 favorite decks of the decade. Well, I started reading last spring, early summer, so I guess I'm in a gestation. This is my gestations. And I don't have very many decks, but I already have so many decks it's hard to choose from, and I feel neglectful of decks. I feel like there's things that I could be. I did a spread with my Deviant Moon a while ago, and I mean, so they just didn't want to move because I like just had it sitting up there, you know, and I feel like they all need my energy to talk to me. So I don't know, maybe y'all have had all that issue. That's my issue. I have a lot of issues. So top 5 tarot decks of the decade are my gestation, and in no particular order. So when I started out coming back, I was working with, I ordered, so I would have a new deck. And by the unfortunate, I ordered this Dark Mansion, and I ordered it, as I said, after one night going to sleep saying, oh, I just wish they had a deck that had like images of Tim Burton. I love the Druid decks. I love the Witches decks. They're beautiful. There's a few of the Witches decks I would like to have. But I feel like I have moved on to another place. You know, when I lived in the Rockies, when I lived in the woods, when I lived out 4-wheel drive in and out, I mean, it was all the Druid, it was all the earth. But now I live a half a block from the beach. I live in a more populated area, though in a historical area. But it feels like I not saying I won't go back to those decks, and not saying I wouldn't love, you know, like the Everyday Witch is like, and the Green Witch. I mean, they're wonderful, but I don't know where I'm at. And I'm just letting it flow. So I thought, well, I need at least one deck, because I had my old Rider-Waite deck, right? Just the regular one with the stars on the back. So I ordered this Dark Mansion, and I like it that it's got some beachy scenes. But, you know, now, you know, I noticed things about this, how this death looks really bored. But, you know, like in the Crowley deck, the devil's actively making souls, reaping the souls back to earth. The queens are beautiful. Oh, the women are beautiful. This one here is this 5 of Wands. They're fighting, but they're not fighting, see? They're not really connecting, and this guy is like looking to a higher source, and the bobbies aren't fighting either. And I like that, because we just like had that real major, 12,000 people successful, peaceful march in Virginia. Look at that. And I like this devil. It's a woman in a red dress. Most basically say, you know, you should have been happy for what you had, not have your head all caught up where it is, like mine is right now, right? Thank you, Miss Devil in the red dress. I like this girl, because look how she's flying with her now I forget what they call those, messenger bags, and her cat and her hair. All the aces are beautiful. Sounds like Prairie Home Companion, where all the women are beautiful. I love this one. There's 2 of Wands where she's on the tightrope. I love the colors. I love the flaky bodies. I love the weird people. I don't think they really hold so much with tradition, but they're fun and they're non-threatening, totally non-threatening to people. So I don't know if that's the first one I showed you. How many minutes has it been? 5? The other deck I want to show is, when I came back, I was stumbling around. Well, I'm still stumbling around. But I was listening to Vincent Patissi. And he says, if I watched a bunch of his videos, I found him through the Theosophical Society. And he says, if you can read with the Marseille, you can read with any. And as I've gotten into this YouTube, and I'm meeting people from all over the world, you know, you really see how European, this deck is so much more popular than what I saw in the States. Though Vincent's in Chicago, and he's been reading with this deck 30 years, 50 years, something like that. And this deck, this is one of the old rough cut decks, but I love reading with this deck. I love reading with these pips, using the numerology, using the elements. And I have been doing these daily readings of Thoth, and I am really missing this deck. And the other cool thing about this deck, and this is the JJs West edition, I mean there's many editions, is that what I didn't realize, because I've had them out for so long and put away, is that they came in this handy-dandy hard box, and I could actually put them in this big bag that my sister gave me for Christmas that I'm using as a purse. I've always carried a backpack, almost a backpack person. Somehow my kids made off with all of them, so now I have this huge bag, and that goes in there easily, and I like that. So I think I've done those 2. These 2. Another deck that I really, really, really like, it was gifted to me by Roxanne Stoner when I first came in here, because teach me to mention what I like, because, you know, people send it. Is that manifestation? The Deviant Moon, and I love the interview with him. I'm going to talk about that in another day. And what I like about the Deviant Moon, this is lovers, they say so much about our industrialized, surrealistic, illusionary society. Love that death card. There wasn't a favorite death card, was there? And I've used this a lot in readings where I've used this for the super consciousness of the world, or the whatever that would be called, where I'm reading outside influences. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The next one, of course, is Thoth. The reason I like Thoth is I came in with an open mind, though I've heard about Thoth off and on. I've seen carved pumpkins, have a friend that's in Scottish Rite, that all these horrible things he heard, you know, I always look at what I hear is propaganda, mostly, because almost everything they've told us is not true anyway. I mean, I don't believe anything. And I was also like when he wrote something about, in one of his books about eating children or something, he knew that if he wrote one thing that he would be censored, but he could write something else, and people that followed him could click on, I don't know, parody the metaphor, and get that information when he was putting his magic books out. So I think he was a major magus, and I don't have any backlog of bad info about him embedded in my brain. I have a book up here, Moonchild, a fiction book. I think I've read it through once. It's about magic, and I started reading it a while back, and then I got sidetracked and did it again. I think I'll go back and read it again. It's about that thick. But anyway, the thing about this Thoth deck, which y'all are probably just tired of hearing me, this is the midnight sun. The beetle of the midnight sun. It's supposed to be a scarab beetle of the midnight sun. Is that everything I've studied for the last, so I'm 68, so say since I was 20, at least 48 years or more, the book of Thoth, Ascension, magic, witchery, Vedic, Buddhism, whatever, it all ties together here. The new eon, where that Pisces thing is gone. It's gone. And this deck of cards was deliberately made for the new eon. And that just makes me have sex magic all by itself. It makes me so excited because to me it speaks so well once I learn what he's saying. And my fifth one is one I picked up at the Halloween store. And I think they were Spirit of Halloween. And $7.99. $7.99. And I read with these cards for, I'm going to say 6 weeks. I did a daily read. I used to do a daily read where I let the cards make the question, and you don't see me, but now I find out I kind of like getting up, get dressed, get on here. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that. But I enjoyed them. I had to look up a lot of mythology, especially on like Greenie Greenfield and some of those mythological creatures I didn't know. But they don't leave. Look at the Fool. He's got all the things of the magician. And the magician is a warlock. Be nice to have a nice camera that really just shows these things. The Page of Pentacles, one of the most famous voodoo masters in the world. Queen of Swords is an Amazon. The Tower. This is interesting. It's a gargoyle. And what is a gargoyle but a drain spout? But a drain spout. And the water comes down through the mouth to the earth. I really hadn't thought about that, about the emotions of water and the gargoyle. And whether they did it or just stuck the pictures on, I don't know. An imp is the hanged man. Someone definitely not enlightened. Death. The Queen of Cups. The Eight of Cups. I live on an island. We're all about pirates and Day of the Dead and Dickens and ships. This is pretty cool. The Empress. The Sun is the Phoenix. The Hierophant is a voodoo warlock. The Emperor is the Sphinx, so I always thought it was a woman. And I still do. The High Priestess is a fortune teller. And I got this candle also. Chimera, I had to look that up. Page of Cups, Satire. It's got Two of Pentacles, an elephant, a tree. It's got Anubis. And they have just been a blast. They have just been a blast. And the cardstock is good enough so that they shuffle so very nicely. And they were just like, at the Halloween store. The Shaman. So, hope I didn't repeat anything. I'm a little off center. I'm trying to set her up. I might do a few of these tonight. But in my gestation period of the last 9 months, or y'all's last decade, these are the 5 decks that I chose to showcase tonight. If you sat through all of this, 14 minutes, I thank you very much. Love is the answer. Many, many, many blessings. Many blessings.